Look who it is. Marlon Lane is here on the MMA-Holes on a lovely Facebook live stream. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
We are doing good. I mean, listen, we're doing as good as we can on Facebook Live. We're trying to keep the show alive, and it's good to see you guys coming here and showing some love.
Of course, of course. I mean, your hardcore fans are going to follow you wherever you go, Chris. So,
You know, and it does. It brings a
yeah,
little
glad
tear to
you.
my eyes when I look into this chat and I see Craig Lee, I see Jesus Christ, I see Marlon Lane, I see Shaz O'Brien, I see Jason with I see hearts. Marlon, I see hearts flying around. Oh my goodness! Look at this now. Oh wait, I'm throwing hearts up. But look at this. Everyone's throwing hearts at you. Craig Lee says beautiful as always.
Thank you, Craig. Thank you.
Savior Jesus Christ says, can't you communicate with him and tell him to take back the report? So Savior Jesus Christ is talking about what happened, and we did communicate through law. We actually communicated through, we took legal action. Hopefully it doesn't have to go too far, and he understands where we're coming from. We're trying to be as civilized as possible because, listen, it's in a misunderstanding. That's all it is. So we need to take care of that. If the misunderstanding crumbles, then I will attack very harsh and wild. And yeah, we don't want that to happen.
Wow. I didn't know it was that late. Oof.
So Marlon, how is your day going?
It's been going pretty good. Not too bad. How about yours?
It's going all right. So basically, I am hold on, let me just fix you up in here. Okay, there you are. It's going. I never realized how obsessed I got with this channel until they took away my ability to live stream. Until they kind of nipped my balls, they chopped my balls off. I never realized it. So it could be a sickness that I have or a passion. I don't know what it is, but it's tough. It's tough to freaking handle. So going through this is, I mean, listen, there's a lot worse things in life you could go through than a YouTube channel being shut down. But it sucks. It sucks.
I mean, it's your baby. You work so hard at it. I understand. It must be devastating.
Yeah, I cried. I went to the corner. I crawled in the fetal position, my thumb in my mouth, and I was crying. Is that believable at all or no?
That image with you with no pants. No, that's an image.
Like always, I never do a show with pants on, and yeah, this nothing changes. Even on Facebook Live, nothing changes over here on the
Still no
MMA
pants,
holes.
huh?
No pants at all. So let me talk to you through this. I don't know if you got to see us on 210. I don't know if you got to see any of that, but man, we were flying. We were flying high, and the subscribers are coming in. It was a lot of fun. What could the UFC? And here's the thing, UFC. So apparently the numbers for the prelims were at like an all-time low. It wasn't the lowest ever, but within the last 2 years, it was like rated the second lowest ratings in rating history for UFC. What do you think the cause is for that? Do you think it's because everyone's watching the MMA holes? Like, what could be like what's going on with the UFC? Are they in panic mode right now? Are their ratings not as high, so they have to attack like these things? I mean, what do you think about this whole situation?
I think that's a big part of it. I think that they know that they're losing their star quality power. I mean, we had Connor and Ronda; those were like the faces of UFC. And of course John Jones as well. But like they just all are up and gone now, and so it's like the UFC's panicking for a new star. They were trying to do Paige, but then Paige lost two fights she headlined, and Sage wasn't, has lost a couple fights. And so it's like all their so-called stars, I think, are really just putting them in a panic mode. And the new owners now, I think they're not real MMA fans, but they're just more business oriented. And that's why they're putting together these money fights and stuff like that, because to get as much money and advertisement instead of really respecting the rankings.
Yeah, it seems like the circus is getting a little insane now. It does seem like it's getting a little crazy, and they're hitting the panic button a little bit. They're putting together some interesting, like for instance, not this card. This card has some interesting stuff for this weekend, but the following weekend is a freaking home run. And I'm curious, when you have a guy like Artem Lobov, who is ranked 25 or something like that, and you got a guy like Cub Swanson who's ranked number 5, is or I think it's number 5. He's somewhere up there in the top 10. Uh, I mean, is this fair? Is this fair to have stuff like go like this? And this seems like why the problem is. You know, have a guy like Artem Lobov just jump the line because he called out Cub, and now he's up there fighting a top 10 guy. It's crazy. Do you think this is part of the problem?
I would say so, definitely. I mean, the rankings are there for a reason. I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to give the fans what they want, but then why have rankings to begin with? And if you're not having any rankings in MMA, in my opinion, it's just like a free for all. It's almost like a WWE thing where people are just getting matched just to fight. And from what I know, most fighters are fighting for the glory, for a title. Like they're taking their career seriously, and UFC's kind of turning it in just to a show.
Yeah, it's a circus. It really is a circus. Now, I am a sucker for a circus, so I do like this stuff. And that card, the following weekend, I'm going to be glued to it. I'm going to be glued to it. I was a little excited for that fight, buddies, but we'll see. Well, maybe we could get it to work. But, I like that. But the downfall is when you jack up these cards and do things like that, you have those cards that kind of bring you back down. What do you rate UFC 210, the card that just passed? What do you think about that card that just passed on us? I mean, there was a lot of things, and I would like to get your opinions on at least the top 2 fights. What do you rate the card as a whole, UFC 210?
I'd say a 6.
A 6. So now that's a big drop. You rated 209. You gave it a pretty high score, and 210 you give a 6. What do you think the reasoning is? Is it because of all the drama that happened, the silliness in some of the fights? Like, what's the reason why so low?
Yeah, exactly that. I think, you know, the New York Commission get their stuff together because you think of like any other sport, like football, baseball, they play in any other state. The rules are still the same. Now you go to New York and it's all different. And I know that MMA was just recently passed. They had banned it and they're of course it's a money making state, and I get why the UFC wants to be there, but I think that they should be working with smaller MMA venues, working out all the kinks before you take on a big company like the UFC, because like what happened with like the Weidman fight, to me it was just so much chaos and people coming into the cage and going back and forth, and I think I'm like that looked very unprofessional in my opinion.
So, all right, let's get into the Weidman Musashi thing. Now, I mean, my head is all over the place. I did root for Weidman, and I did feel he was winning. I mean, it was close. I think Weidman was getting the better of Gegard, and then that exchange between the two, the controversy, this and that. What is your take on that situation? I wish I asked Justin. It fucking slipped my mind, but let's get your take on this whole situation. Weidman Musashi, the controversy.
Man, what a controversy. I can't really remember anything like that happening in the UFC, especially as of recently. I mean, this is just like, I understand where every party is coming from. I'll say this. I understand the ref saw something, he called it out. He told Weidman, hey, it was illegal, break, relax, whatever. And so, that was the right call to do. But then to switch it and say, oh, no, it is legal now, we're calling it a TKO, to me, that was bull. Now, and then, Musashi, obviously when you look at the replay, it did start it off as illegal, but then he lifted him to where his hands were up. So technically it was legal, a dirty move, if you want to call it that way. I don't know. And then Weidman, because, he knew the illegal knees were coming. And so he was trying to protect himself. But then when Dan gave him that, 5-minute, recovery time, and he took advantage of it. I don't know if he really was hurt or he was just taking advantage of a situation that was given to him. And so it's like when you look at all these things, it's just there's so much, so much chaos. But one thing I didn't like that Musashi was saying was that he's like, I come here to fight, and he shouldn't be doing a move like that to protect himself from illegal knees and yada, yada, yada. I'm here to fight. And I'm like, well, there's rules for a reason. If you can't abide by the rules, then why are you fighting in MMA?
Yeah, it is. It's a disaster. The whole thing is a mess. I I don't even know where to start with it. I said my opinion in the beginning. I can't blame Dan Miragliotta for what happened in real time. It happened so fast. But, I mean, when Weidman did say that it was February and he had no idea where he was, you can't kill him for stopping it. It's just how it got stopped was just so cringeworthy. It sucks. And for Chris Weidman to go on a three-fight losing streak, and like, the way Yoel went down, and then how this fight goes down, it's just like the guy can't catch a break. They both suck. Like, that's terrible. What do you think's the future for Chris Weidman?
Well, in the past, I believe if within 3 fight losses, you were cut from the UFC, but I think obviously that changes for former champions.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's going to take Chris at least 4 or 5 fights before they even cut him. Um, when he took on Masasi, that was a risky fight. I knew what he was doing. He was trying to beat a top guy so he can get back in the mix and fight for that belt again. I got it. But maybe, I don't know. He was winning the first round. I thought he was being successful with his takedowns, but I don't know. I mean, he might need, you could say, a tune-up fight. Maybe a guy in, the lower 10 to 15 range or something to get his confidence boosted back up, and I mean, he lost twice, on his hometown, his home state. So I can imagine that just must really suck for him, poor
Yeah.
Chris.
I think the championship former champ thing, how he defended the belt multiple times. He's kind of got a pass from the UFC. He seems like he still has a good relationship with them. So, and he's white. No,
That's amazing.
It always helps. But yeah, all right. Let's check out the chat because I actually see people in there. I can't ignore the 4 people watching. Savior Jesus Christ says UFC always put together money fights, popular fights, even from the era of the Liddell and Ortiz. That's true. That's a good point there. A little more lately though. Well, you know what they did back in the day. I'll give you that. Shaz O'Brien is here. What's up, Shaz? Says have to go check in the next time. I'll check out the rest of the stream on YouTube. Thank you for joining us. Jay Smooth says New York MMA is rigged down to the weigh-ins. They allowed DC's fat ass to grab the towel and hover over the scale. And that's a good segue right there. Let's go to DC versus Rumble Johnson. Let's talk, Marlon. TOWELGATE. Let's talk before the fight even started. It happened the day before towel gets tugged. What do you think about that whole situation?
I don't know. I mean, okay, he was over 1.2 pounds, heavyweight. Like, people go, oh, he's heavier, so he had the size advantage. I don't think that's the big deal with a heavyweight. Rumble is a big guy too. Granted, Rumble made weight the first time DC didn't. What I felt was really weird with New York was how, for championship fights, if you don't make the weight, you can actually come back within 2 hours and weigh again. To me, that's ridiculous, Yeah, for him coming back, taking off his shorts, holding the towel, I don't know what to say, about that. If, he said he was just trying to cover himself. People were saying that he was leaning. I don't know. I didn't put too big of a deal on it just because it was only a pound and we're in the light heavyweight division. I think it'd be different if it was a couple pounds in like the strawweight division.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think the whole weight thing played any factor as the outcome of the fight happened.
Yeah, and I agree with that. Listen, I'm a big DC supporter. I think deep down he did try to get a little bit of an advantage. He's denying it. Down the road, we'll probably find out that he did fudge a little bit. But regardless, if you look at that fight, how that fight went down, and how Rumble Johnson was going about handling him, his game plan right out the window, I can't see his game plan to wrestle with DC. Let's just take the weight thing and put it aside. We all know that DC is a fantastic wrestler. Rumble is too, but DC is on another level when it comes to wrestling. Why do you think Rumble Johnson took that approach? Was he already checked out, or did he try to trick DC in wrestling, trying to out wrestle him?
Well, I kind of saw the same thing that happened with the whole Zingano-Rousey fight. Everybody told Zingano she's a slow starter, so she wanted to prove everybody wrong, go out there fast, and it cost her the fight. I think with Rumble, everybody says, oh, you're a striker, and all you do is hit people with one punch. And I think he was trying to prove something, that hey, I do have a wrestling background, I can do other things besides punch. And so I think he went out there to prove something to himself, especially if he was knowing that that was his last fight. You don't wrestle an Olympic wrestler, in my opinion. They're Olympic caliber for a reason. They train differently, they have a different mentality. I think he should have stuck with his plan. I think if Rumble did his fight, because he did kick him, he did rattle him, he did look good when he was on his feet, but yeah, I don't know why he decided to wrestle.
Yeah, it just seemed to me, and like you said, the kick. I mean, that head kick, fucking putting Cormier's nose on the other side of his head. I mean, it did freaking affect Cormier. But I mean, Cormier, he didn't care. He's like, oh, my nose is over here now, but I'm gonna keep going. He's a little loony. But where does this put Daniel Cormier now? Now Cormier is saying, he's throwing his weight around and saying that he should be up there pound for pound. And I kind of don't disagree with the guy. When he's approved himself in 2 weight classes, he's beat everyone except for arguably the greatest fighter of all time, and he went the distance with that guy. Where would you place Cormier pound for pound right now as a champion? I mean, listen, TOWELGATE, it is what it is, but everyone, John Jones with the dick pills, and, everyone has this checkered past. Where would you put Cormier right now after this?
Well, I definitely agree that he should be on the pound for pound list. I think that he's a very underrated fighter. I think his record's now 19-1. Undefeated in the heavyweight division. Has that one blemish, like you said, from UFC fighters we've ever seen in John Jones. And like he said, he went the distance, and it was a close, I would say a close fight, because it went to decision. I don't know why he doesn't get as much, notoriety, or, I guess some people may think he's arrogant or whatever, but I like the guy. I mean, he went savage at the end. It was hilarious at the interview.
I just looked at the list right now. He's number 3 right now. So he thinks he should be on top of a guy. I mean, listen, I wouldn't argue the fact that he could be on top of McGregor because of his track record. I mean, I could see that. Even though, sorry, Connor, sorry, I love you, but I could see Daniel Cormier being on top of McGregor. Here's the conversation: Mighty Mouse. He's only done it at 1 weight class. Daniel Cormier has pretty much proved himself in both weight classes. Do you think that would affect Demetrius Johnson's legacy if he doesn't go to another weight class and try to make a move at a big money belt fight, 2-belt champ type deal? Do you think that would blemish Mighty Mouse's legacy?
Sorry. No, I don't think it would at all. I think, in all honesty, well, Demetrius did fight I believe he fought at 135.
Correct.
I know he had a loss from Dominic Cruz at 135, and then he's been pretty dominant at 125. I think I think Demetrius, though, deserves to be above Cormier in the pound for pound. I mean, Johnson, he's such a technical fighter. I look at Cormier, granted, he has his skills, but he's more of a brawler, like get in your face. He's going to win. He's competitive. Demetrius is very calm, very soothing, just like, yeah, you know what? My skills are going to have an answer for everything that you throw at me. So I do believe that DJ belongs above him.
Yeah, I'm pulling up his history right now. I mean, man, oh man, it's very, very impressive. A lot of reds, and Dominic Cruz is way back when, 2011, October 1st, and then draw and win party. Just win. It's pretty impressive. I know that you're at work right now. I know it's a little difficult. I just want to get your quick opinion on the fights this weekend. Anything to look for this weekend? Hold on, let me pull it up real quick so I don't keep you too long. All right, here we go. Google Zoom this fucker. All right, so we got Mighty Mouse, who we're just talking about, Speak of the Devil, versus Wilson Reis. There are 2 fights, actually 3 fights over here that I'm very intrigued by, and I want to get your quick thoughts. One of the most intriguing is the second fight of the main card right off the bat. Jacare Souza versus Whitaker. I'm hearing mixed things from people. Jacare, Whitaker, and rightfully so. Whitaker is a up and coming superstar. What are your thoughts on this fight? What do you think how this is going to go down?
Oh, well, I mean, Jacare is without a doubt probably the best submission artist in the middleweight division. I mean, he's just crazy skilled. Whittaker, he's been looking good at 185 since he moved up. You know, he's a young kid. He's 26. He's kind of a brawler the way I see him. You got to be a bit more technical with Jacare. You can't really just brawl out. But I mean, I don't know. Jacare's a scary dude. Props to Whittaker for just saying F it and just going for it. So, but I think Jacare will get this done.
It's intriguing. This fight I'm going to be glued to. Jacare versus Whitaker. I feel like there's so many cool stories within this fight. I can't wait to see this one go down. Rose Namajunas, I always screw her name up, but Rose Namajunas versus Michelle Waterson, the Karate Hottie. What are your thoughts on this fight? This is a little interesting too as well. Nope. Did I lose you?
No, you just were breaking up, so I was just waiting for the screen to...
Oh, I'm sorry. So, yeah, fuck Facebook Live. It sucks. Rose versus Michelle Waterson.
Namajunas and Waterson. I'm a fan of both those girls. Both of them are very humble and great fighters. For Waterson on this one, because I love her heart, and I love where, how impressive she was with her last fight with Paige, after, overcoming injuries and whatnot. So, she's a badass, so I'm going for Waterson on this one.
Waterson for the win. Jesus Christ says because he's pound for pound boring fighter. He's talking about Demetrius Johnson. I would give you a wonderful, but it's broken right now. And speaking of the pound for pound GOAT, Demetrius Johnson versus Wilson Reese is going down. The main event on a Fox card, not even a pay-per-view card, a Fox card. Thoughts on a non-pay-per-view event, and give me your thoughts on who you think is going to win this one.
I'm going for DJ on this one. However, his opponent I know is brilliant at jiu-jitsu. So if it goes to the ground, I mean, not saying that Johnson is not good on the ground enough, but to me, he has MMA ground knowledge. I think it's very different when you're training just in jiu-jitsu like his opponent is. So, but I think DJ, he's a smart fighter. I think he's going to get the job done.
DJ for the win, and it's not a shocker. I mean, I think the world is going to pick DJ on this one. Nothing against Reese, but I think DJ's on just a different level than anyone right now when it comes to that weight class. Mighty Mouse. And this one is this to tie the record? No, this is to beat the record. This is to tie the record with Anderson Silva. I can't remember.
I believe it's a tie, yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a tie because there's rumblings that if DJ gets past Reese, he might go to Cody Nolov, who's interested in dropping down to fight Mighty Mouse, which is, what the fuck? Like, there's rumors about that. I can't see that happening, but Jesus.
He needs to focus on TJ first.
Exactly. TJ is not a pushover. Last question. Ultimate Fighter is next weekend. What are your thoughts? Are you going to be watching this one, or are you just yay or nay?
I usually don't watch the tough shows, to be honest with you. I mean, I'll catch highlights of it here and there, but, it's not really my cup of tea.
No, it's not mine either. I will watch this one. Just because, well, you know what's going to happen. I'm going to watch the first episode, and then the second one's going to happen. It'll be like, oh, he stole my milk. I can't have cereal now. And then I'm just going to fucking fast forward it. So I guess it's not really considered watching it, right?
Exactly.
Well, Marlon, I know we kept you for way too long right now. Yeah. Marlon, thank you so much for coming on. Any last words to the MMA holes? Do you have anything to say to Zuffa and the UFC for neutering the MMA holes? Any last words to Zuffa?
Oh my God. Please, guys, let us come back. I mean, There's so many other shows out there that, in my opinion, that would deserve to be cut off compared to yours. I mean, you guys are just a bunch of guys about having fun, doing something you're passionate, talking about something you're passionate. I don't see why you guys got the ban, and I really hope that Zuffa, YouTube, and whoever else is involved lifts everything and allows you to go back to what you're doing, because I love your show with everything you do.
That really doesn't mean a lot. And I do appreciate everyone that's in the chat hanging out. Marlon Lane, I always appreciate. I see the wristband. Good for you. And I know you're a goody two shoes, but I need you to do one thing for me. Okay, ready? I need you to take your hand, put that middle finger up, and say, "Fuck Zuffa."
No.
What's the odds?
F Zuffa.
Wait, I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I said F Zuffa.
All right, good enough. Fair enough. Thank you, Marlon, for coming on. I appreciate it. It's always a blast talking to you, and have a great night.
Thank you. Always a blast. Have a great night, you guys.
All right, Marlon Lane.